Today we are finally talking about the best perks for the wall dart. I first need to explain myself. I've been covering Save the World since 2018, and I have never talked about this trap because back in the day, it felt like it was just sort of a known issue, and I just wasn't that big of a fan of the wall darts. I've only really adapted it in the last couple of years, and I'm really glad I did. This trap shoots 3 tiles, it pierces enemies, it does a significant amount of damage, and it's so versatile because of that 3-tile range that you can pretty much just stick it anywhere, and it'll almost certainly be effective. There are situations where you can place it off the edge of a little hill, and it'll actually shoot into the zombies before they fall into the ground. It's really, really versatile. I could talk all day about different applications for this, but I'm just going to direct you guys to my Trap Guides playlist, link to that down below, where I showcase all sorts of different trapping situations, and the wall dart is featured plenty. This trap is good. You should use it. So, why did I never cover it? Like I said, I felt like everybody already knew the traps, and then I just felt like it was too late to make the video, and that's a self-serving cycle. So, as the years went on, I thought I was too late, so I didn't make it, and the guilt just compounded and compounded until today, where Fortnite OG, if you guys are watching this in long off future and you don't know what's going on, Epic released a whole new season of Fortnite Battle Royale where they brought back the old map, and the flood of Save the World players that has joined my channel recently is tremendous. It's like this game is alive and well again, and what better way to welcome all these new viewers than to finally talk about the best perks for the wall darts. You've been staring at them the whole time. If you want the best DPS for the wall darts and you don't want to use your brain, these are it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. But let's talk about the different alternatives. So I actually did a lot of math. These are actually the highest DPS perks. The bottom one is a variant. We'll talk about that later, but this is essentially what you want to do. You do want a crit build. It's not my favorite thing to fish for crits, and I'll show you an alternate build if you don't like relying on crits. Shooting once every 4.2 seconds is really slow, and when you don't crit, it's not a ton of damage, even though the trap still helps. However, on average, over time, that chance to crit is really what you're going for, because you are going to need to crit if you want Mist monsters or smashers to die. And when you're shooting through crowds of enemies and you're hitting multiple targets at once, one attack from this trap could potentially crit multiple targets and then not crit a bunch of others. So you do need to fish for crits if you want optimal damage. But moving on with the other perks, the damage perk really smoothens out the damage, and you're absolutely going to want to reload. All of the best perk options for the wall darts include a reload, except for you endurance people. We'll talk about that in a second. But if you really want to crit more often and rely a little less on luck, you can actually do a double crit rating perk. To those who don't know, crit rating has diminishing returns in this game. The second crit rating perk is significantly less effective than the first one. It is almost never, ever recommended to do double crit rating. In fact, even right now as I'm recommending it, I don't suggest you do this. However, it is only about 5.5% less DPS to do a second crit rating perk, but your chance to crit will be 51%, meaning you are going to crit most of the time. Again, you will do more damage with a damage perk, you will do more damage over time, more damage per second, and when you don't crit, that damage will be high enough to like kill basic enemies easier. So this is the standard perk loadout if you want to turn your brain off, but if you really hate fishing for crits, I have 2 suggestions. First is actually that double crit rating. That is a little bit less damage, and what else is that you can also do double damage and double reload. That's, again, not optimal. That's like the third best perk option that I tested, but it is there if you want it. If you hate crits outright, double damage, double reload will work if you really want to go that way. And those endurance people I was talking to, double crit rating, double crit damage. If you are specifically, strategically using your wall darts at the end of your trap tunnels, specifically for mist monsters and smashers, mini bosses is pretty much never going to matter, then yes, double crit damage is the only thing that's going to do a meaningful amount of damage, and double crit rating will make that more reliable. That is not for standard use. If you're going that route, you probably have multiple wall dart schematics, and you probably don't need this video because you already know what you're doing. I'm just saying there is viability to it, but if you want general use, this is what you want. And finally, the bottom perks. So I've just always blindly used increased building health. I think making your walls a little bit stronger is nice. However, the other option is healing your builds for 4.8% every 10 seconds. Passively healing your walls is also nice. I think you can use whatever you're in the mood for. I've always liked stronger walls, but making them heal on their own is also good. But lastly, if you are running out of durability, you can use a durability perk. My experience tells me that I've never needed a durability perk. I am somebody who has fairly decent survivor squads. They're not done by any means, but I use a trap durability bonus because it's kind of the best set bonus. All of the other set bonuses in the game don't really make a difference. I'll link my Survivor Squads video down below if you guys want to learn all about this, but my point is simple, that trap durability is the only one that really makes a difference. So the 45 that you're seeing on the sheet here is very wrong. In fact, all of these numbers are very low. This is not doing 2,000 damage. If you've seen the gameplay, it's probably doing hundreds of thousands, but for whatever reason, it's really low in here. And that's also true for the durability. It's not 45, it's probably more like 90 or more. And I typically play with teammates that have higher trap durability than myself even. So if you are struggling with durability, have no fear. You can absolutely run a durability perk. It's not going to make a big difference, but as time goes on and you further refine your Survivor Squads, it shouldn't be a problem. Or if you have an extra hero loadout slot, Machinist Harper exists, and you can just use her to increase your trap durability globally. So that's kind of a thing as well. But ultimately, those are the best perks. Those are why. Those are the different situations that you might want to consider when you are perking your wall darts. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see any other videos on like best traps in the game, I got a whole video on that covering all of, you're not going to believe this, the best traps in the game. I'm also going to have a suggested video at the end here. So if you enjoyed, subscribe, stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And then